So that's a good thing to have to report as well. The
Now,
reason
you'll be putting those barriers up so they can't drive anything across to any side.
that is correct. Yes, yes, and we do have to leave a, I think, 40-inch gap for wheelchair access. But we don't want rangers and, I mean, I saw a dirt bike out there the other day, but you just have to, you know, we've got signs up, motorized, no motorized vehicles, but you just deal with it, just deal with it. The reason that I might have a smile on my face today is that we were successful. You all have received a grant in the amount of $1.1 million some odd dollars for the next phase. I'm there. I'm so
All right,
thrilled.
we'll do it
That's big.
individually.
We are absolutely thrilled about this. That is going to let us develop the bridge across the creek down to the railroad crossing with a trailhead. And that's going to put us on course to get out to the public road system here in Vermilion County. It's just very, very exciting. So we're going to have questions. It's your grant. We're happy to help you pull it off, just like we did the other one. You know, we're going to have to answer a few questions like who do we want to hire as an engineering firm? We used HWC last time, and they worked out okay. Had some issues. I think you'll have issues with any engineering firm that you hire. If you all have a preference, we'd like to hear that. We'd certainly be happy to consult with you and agree on a way forward with that. But until we get this current grant wrapped up, get our final approval, get our reimbursement, we're probably not going to do much on this thing. We have a 4-year time frame to complete this. So we got plenty of time. It doesn't mean I want to wait. It means I want to get right with this, but we're just very excited about this. So
Was that a 75-25 or 80-20 on that?
the grant, we came up with actually 21% of matching funds.
Okay.
Now, the interesting part of that, I mean, for your information, the current project supplied $140,000 of match for this project. They accepted the current project as match.
Wow.
Because even though they're both state money, they're different pots of money. And so that helped us a lot. And we've had tremendous support from different folks, I mean, different foundations. Help Township stepped up. You know, we raised a lot of money on our end.
On the grant, is it pegged that it has to go to certain parts of the project, i.e. the bridge has to have so much allocated to it, the trail has to have so much allocated to it, the crossing has to have so much allocated to that?
No. We have, HWC did do a price, cost, let's say I'm going to call it a cost estimate for purposes of our grant application. And they allocated certain monies to each part of it. The bridge was one thing, the trail, the parking lot area. Those are somewhat itemized out. But as far as the grantor, the people who are granting us the money, I don't think they have that requirement. It has occurred to me, and this will be for further discussion, it's occurred to me that maybe we could break this up into 2 parts. The trail itself, we don't even need engineering on it, other than perhaps some permitting and things like that. The bridge obviously is going to have to be engineered, but could we potentially break this up into 2 separate contracts? Maybe. These are things we're going to be thinking about, we're going to be talking with you all about. You can be thinking about that. I don't want to take time tonight to discuss that. Questions? And then one more item that I'm going to bring up, and it goes back to this current project. Again, we talked to Park County. We are planning to have a celebration, a bi-county celebration. It's going to take the form of a 5K race. It's going to be based in Montezuma, probably start at Reeder Park, do an out and back race. maybe have a mile, mile and a half fun walk for families, talking about having food, maybe a band, food trucks, who knows what the shape of this thing, but our projected date for that is September the 24th. And it's a Saturday. But we're looking forward to having that celebration, and we're thinking about perhaps inviting some dignitaries, because this is a big deal. It's a big deal, and we want to celebrate. And again, we want you, we want you to take the torch from Jim Meese and walk it on across. And he's in on that too. We had that discussion. So that's just another item we've got on our agenda. Any questions for me?
I would just like to say something about the Vermillion Trails Association. I don't know if everyone knows, and some people are critical of trails. I don't understand why they are when there's money out there, and there's a lot of money out there, and why not get it? And why not improve our community? And I just want to say that you guys all done a wonderful job. You really have. And I remember years ago when everybody was down there on that trail, and we started working on it years ago. How many years ago was it? 4 years ago. Then we took over that project down there, that rail bed, for no money. People complained about, we didn't spend the county money, and there was no money involved.
No.
It was all, and so you guys just went with that. You've done a wonderful job. You got a great organization. I can't be there all the time. I came there today. I think you had about 12 people there. Mm-hmm. And so I'd say you guys run a wonderful organization, doing great things in the county. I think the county needs to realize that. And this is a big thing. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tom's got a few items to talk with you about too.
So I'm Tom Milligan. Anyway, so we're going to get out to this public crossing with that trail. Well, then we got to start thinking about a route. See, and realize this is years down the road, but we're thinking ahead. So it's like the county, we need to start thinking about county roads as routes. Right. How that would done, the signage, crossroads, trails. They are working, which that's the Terre Haute, the Thrive group, the Tri-County Loop we talk about. They've been brought probably into that fold, but so and they're working on this idea of consistent signage for route usage. We just need to be thinking about that. A few years down the road, we're going to be coming back and saying, this is what we need to do. But that's one thing, is once we get out to the road, why then people can ride their bicycles, and that county road is not a heavily traveled road. It'd be a great place to ride.
We just paved all of Hillsdale. How long ago has that been, Lawson? The last 2 years?
No, it's longer than that, probably 5 or 6 years.
We paved all that. So.
Yes, and people. So anyway, that's the next thing, and then so our other project is at Trailhead Park. And so we went out and explored the other day. We want to go from the boundary of the county farm, which that's the sign says trail ends here. Let's push it out. We haven't had any problems, have we? I mean, nobody that we know of. So let's push it down the line some. So you push it out some. The first thing you get to is there's a culvert out. Okay, we've got the culverts. The culverts are sitting there.
The ones we had left over?
That's right. So we've got that. So we've got and the challenge there is you're not going to get very much equipment across the little walking. The bridge that's there is not sufficient, so we have to cut through the county farm, and we've got our route picked out. We went out the other day and figured out how we're going to get there, and one of the culverts will go across the creek, get us in and go through there, and then access the trail going through the county farm, or I don't know if you can say the dump. Anyway, what do you call that? The landfill or something. But that property there, you go through there, that's how we'll access the trail. And we had the blessing of the commissioners before this. I don't know if you guys were here when we did that or not. So anyway, that's our next project. Get that culvert in and push on then to the trestle. The trestle is going to be a huge project. But we can push our trail out to that, I think, this year.
So Tom, is this talking about the OPD bottoms? Is that right?
We are not going to make it there yet because there's.
But I mean, you're talking about extending outside of the county.
Yes, we're talking about extending it where it's still property that belongs to the reuse authority, licensed to the county, but it has private owners on
On
each
both
side.
sides.
And
If I the only thing that I would say, I'm all for improving the trails, but whenever that project, since I guess this was already approved by previous commissioners, whenever that would take place, I would like to see adjacent landowners brought back in, even though I think the project will go forward. I would like to see them brought back in, because there has been a lot of concerns that they were left out of discussions the first go around, and whether or not that's true or not, now that I'm here, I would like to see them at least an olive branch extended back to them, and show them that we are putting signage up and we can, adhere to some concerns. There are some that they just, we won't be able to. But I don't know if that's a timetable you're talking about later this fall or summertime.
we'll start work on it when the ground dries up and we have time to
Okay.
do it.
That would be
so-
my only request as a commissioner, is that
And-
any adjacent private landowner be notified and, talk to them and see
And
if
we
they.
have, and Keith Hollingsworth is one of them. Can we just say names?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just Keith Hollingsworth is one of them. And we took him back there. We loaded him up in the Ranger and took him back there and walked out there, and he started out
Yeah.
saying, you guys are nuts, and pretty much that's in even stronger words than that. Hey, and now he's like, wow, this is kind of neat,
Yeah.
So
Well, even
people-
if it was like a pre-bid thing where you just sent all the private landowners an email or letters and say, hey, we're gonna have a meeting out here on Saturday. We've invited you out to come and look, and if they don't, then I mean that's on them. But I do think it'd be nice to, bring them back into the loop and let them
the
know
other
that we're.
side is not so friendly.
Oh, well, I can imagine probably so.
We can reach out again.
Let's start just the price of progress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's just my request. I don't know about the other two commissioners, but I would like to see. I mean, at least bring them into the loop on it again, even though they may be against it. We need to let them know that hey, we support this, but let's see if we can help you out in any way, or see whatever we can do.
So that's what our plans are, is to utilize the material that you provided us early and make a route to get out there and push forward. And this
Well,
will be
I
something
think-
that will not be grant funded, so it doesn't have to meet all the ADA requirements and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's something we can do on our own, and it's not a contractor job, it's not that big a job. So it'll
Yeah.
be volunteers doing a job and getting it done.
But the current property that the Rise owns on that right of way will take you all the way out the other road on it.
Oh, it'll take you clear to OPD.
Okay.
That's right, take the OPD road, absolutely. There's 2 trestles in there, and and the creek has washed out the railroad, it's.
Rail bed is
The rail
gone.
bed is gone at one point, so. And it very well could be a nature trail that goes through the creek at that point. I mean, we don't have to do ADA requirements, so, we're gonna do what we have to do, but but at least we know we've got a path forward. You keep pushing a little bit every year. I think we can push out to that next trestle and get one culvert put in and go to the next trestle. That's our ask, I guess. Are we good to do that?
Well, and just another little twist on that, the getting the access through the county farm to the trail, we can do that all within the confines of the county farm.
Oh, absolutely.
All within your property. Once we go to and get access, then we go to replace that other culvert that crosses the actual grade, then we're going beyond the farm. So with your permission or your blessing, we would like to at least get the access to the trail, which is entirely on county farm property.
But the
And I
but the
totally
repl-
respect your wishes, and I think you're on a good track there, but I would also ask that you would participate in that meeting as well. That
Well,
would be great.
I absolutely. We set a meeting. I'll be there for it. But I wouldn't. For now, I would say my blessing would be no until a pre-meeting is set with the adjacent landowners that it will be up to, and if the VTA could set that meeting with those.
You're not talking about that right now, are you?
Well,
You're just talking about on the county property.
Well, there's
just talking about doing the work, getting the access to the railroad grade, so we can be doing something in the meantime
But the railroad bed where you'll be doing work will be adjacent of the landowners.
Where the culvert goes in
Yes.
is beyond the county farm
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Where the access is absolutely within the county property.
Yeah.
So if
So, I
we
mean,
could
it-
at least get the access put in.
That's a big project.
And that's, but that does imply an assumption, I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at as well. I mean, for me, I would much rather have that whatever you want to call it, joint meeting, invite these adjacent landowners, because once they see this work going on, that meeting won't mean a whole lot after the fact. The meeting will mean more before they see the work going on.
So you're going for the good faith thing, and I get that. I'm in. I'm okay with that.
I had a meeting with the people at Hillsdale Fire Department. I don't know if you guys were there that day. It's been 3 years ago or so. It was an open meeting, and had everybody come in. They all voiced their part. So the Hillsdale Fire Department, probably other places do it, the same place, you know. That'd be my suggestion.
May do it at Trailhead Park.
We could do it at the park, at the shelter. We'll put something like that together.
I'm all for what RJ's saying. I think that's better communication we have. Regardless of the outcome, we still
Yeah.
need to pursue that out of respect of the landowners.
Yep. That's all
So
I
yeah,
have.
if the VTA would like to send maybe some pre-dates, we could all maybe look at, and that way all the commissioners can try to make it, and maybe especially the adjacent landowners, we don't want to pick it, if they're working through the week at, 1 o'clock or something, maybe make sure that it's a good meeting date for everybody.
So right now, have we already granted you guys permission to do it all on the county property? Have you guys asked for that and received that permission?
No, and I'm thinking that we'll just go ahead and have this meeting, and then we'll do the whole thing.
Okay.
That's okay with me.
But I mean, you got two different issues. You got one with the commissioners and you got one with the property owners, and didn't know if that was something that you need to have done
No.
now, or.
I mean, the previous commission, before this year's, a couple years back, sure, you can go through then, and we blazed the trail out so far, and so, yeah, we went out there and explored with the previous commissioner's blessing. It's different people sitting up here now, so.
I'm still here.
Right. We have to have two.
That's all I have, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations again on that.
You haven't been out there, you need to go.
It's nice, I've been out there,
Very
it's
nice.
nice.
We
They
love
did a
it.
wonderful job. We're gonna move on with new business, and Dr. Paula Market is here. Glad to have her here tonight, and Wendy.
Hello, Paula Market. Remember me?
Good evening.
So I have just a few updates. First, I'd just like to, I know you've already received the COVID update for April. Just wanted to update that to say that we still have had only 4 positive cases for the month of April. Now, there could be other positives with home testing that we don't know about, but those don't have to be reported. The state is not requiring us to report negative cases at all anymore, or rapid cases, only the PCR test. So the numbers have gone way down.
Great.
And we're continuing to have the vaccine clinics as requested by the state. We're doing them right now for the rest of this month on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 at the health department, and we do one Saturday. Okay. Starting next month, May and June, we're going to change that to Monday and Thursday to accommodate our health nurse. And then there is a new grant money coming and a lot of requirements that we have to satisfy for that, and they will still require us for another year to do 1 night a week along with 1 weekend per month. So
This is just for the COVID vaccine?
just for the vaccine, not the testing anymore.
Okay.
And
How are you doing with the supplies of that? Are they dated, the vaccines, we can keep them so long? of all you
Yes.
have?
Yeah, the
What's the shelf
vaccines-
life on them?
Do you have, they have, actually have an expiration date on the vial, and then they also have a use by date. The expiration date is, the vial is bad, throw it away, but the use by date is determined by when it came out of the good freezer. Okay, and then you have so long after that to use it. So you may have to discard it before the actual expiration date, or vice versa.
Okay.
And then we enclosed just some percentages to show you in the county. Basically, the 18 and younger group, we have fully vaccinated somewhere in the low 50% of those that are available in the over 65 age group. A little over 80% have been vaccinated fully, meaning that they've had 2 doses. And then as far as the boosters are concerned, probably again about somewhere around 45% of the 18 and under, and 65% of the 65 and older. And the second booster was approved, and we have been busy with that as well, so business has picked back up as far as our vaccine clinic. And that's about all for just the month of April. I did prepare actually a quarterly report just this year so far, first 3 months. And on the first page you'll see there just is a description of everything that we're doing, each person in the office and what their responsibilities are and what they're accomplishing. In general, for our general services, we're issuing the birth and death certificates and certifying those, and then we have requests for copies, mostly for genealogy. The vaccines, we're administering the adult vaccines. Those are the ones that we are able to charge for. And we have administered so far in the first quarter 548 COVID vaccines during our clinics. The thing about the adult vaccines and why we don't have a lot of business is because most people that are getting these are on Medicare, and their Part D pays for it, and they have to receive that at the pharmacy. So but if they don't have it covered, say example the shingles vaccination, which a lot of plans don't cover, it's much cheaper for them to come to us than to go to the pharmacy to get the vaccine, and the doctor's office can't give it to them.
Do we ever get it resolved with the potential of the county health system being able to be billed for that?
Yeah, we met with somebody from Anthem, but there's several different insurances. We talked with Dr. Market on it. She can give you her opinion on it.
There are so many plans that it would take probably 2 years to get those plans, and you would have to have an insurance specialist. You would have to hire more staff to be able to do that. That's knowledgeable about the plans and what's covered, and like I said, as far as our Medicare patients, they're only covered under their Part D, a pharmacy benefit.
Right. More particularly, just the county health, what the county has. Was there a resolution to that, or was that with the
We ask in general. So you just want to know if the county employees or whatever.
to the health plan that they have?
We didn't
whether-
do that, but we can check on that. I mean, yeah.
I know that they went down, there was some question about that earlier on. I didn't know if we resolved that or not.
What was the question?
This matter of whether the health insurance could be billed directly from the health department
Okay.
for the county employees that on that particular
Um,
insurance program.
So what would have to happen there is I would have to be credentialed through that plan as a provider in order to bill that.
Whether it's worth it or not, I don't know, but if you could
Yeah.
look into it, and if it's $1, so be it.
Versus we can charge them and they can submit it and they can be reimbursed.
And that may
But
be the best way of doing it.
in order for us to, just accept their insurance card and submit it to the insurance company, you have to actually be like, for every insurance that my office takes, I have to be credentialed with that company.
Sure.
So that's a big process, so.
Is our prices within the range that the insurances normally pay that, 100%,
cheaper.
80%, or?
They're cheaper, say, so, take for instance, the shingles vaccination is 165, and it's probably like 230 at the pharmacy. If,
Okay.
Wow.
if you were to pay
And
for
that's
it.
just our cost, that's what we charge.
Yeah, we just charge what we pay for it,
Right.
not anything on top.
What we have done for some of the businesses, like Beverly's and stuff, their employees will come and get the vaccine, and then we will send them a bill, and then they pay the health department for that. That's what we've done in the past on some of them.
Good.
So we can check into it.
Okay. And then, any other questions about vaccines? Going on the environmental services, you can see the permits, the complaints, and we had one home this year so far that wasn't fit for human habitation, and Kim was working with the sheriff's department, and that's still an ongoing case as well. And then food inspections, we have a attachment A will list all the places that were inspected so far this year and what the result of that was. We did issue 11 mobile permits and 21 permanent food permits. And then we had some about 25 complaints otherwise, animal bites and other stuff, so.
How are mobile permits, how do you inspect those? If they're permanent or
Well,
annual permits?
like
I mean.
say places that have a food truck. So you inspect the food truck and make sure they have good water source and, everything's.
But if it's mobile, how do you do that?
Well, they tend to come back to the same place all the time, so, like what's the dog and said? So we know when they're gonna be there.
Do these inspections, like for Little Italy and for the hill climb, are they inspected also during those events? Whether they're
I don't know
permanent
the
or
answer to
mobile?
that. I know they have to come and get the permit,
Right.
but I don't know how much goes on during that. I haven't been through that.
Tim did do both festivals this year, or last
Or
year,
last year.
so he will be doing that.
Good.
Is there a permitting fee for that, like when they do, if you're inspecting everything at during Little Italy, I mean, do those vendors have to pay a certain fee for that also, for the inspections too, so it's something that,
Do they pay for
Not
the
inspection
inspection, just
fee.
the
They don't
permit,
pay
as far
for
as I
the-
For
know?
a permit, yeah.
Just the permit only.
Yeah. Okay. And then, the real reason you'd wanted me to come was to present the, annual report for 2021. And, you'll find that Wendy has those for you.
Oh, thank you.
So just briefly, a table of contents, and on page 2 you'll find that the members of the board for last year, as well as the employees for last year, so all the staff, and then it lists the basically the financial sheet of This is, money that, was allocated from tax dollars that we have spent, the expenses that we have, the money, the receipts that we collected, for, vaccines, death certificates, things like that. And if you'll notice, there is $150,000 that's a trust investment, and we did make a little bit of interest off of that. So you have the beginning balance and then you have the ending balance for 2021.
Thank you for doing that, appreciate it.
On page 4 is the local health maintenance fund, and that is from a grant that the state gives us. And with that money, we use it to help pay salaries, and it's also used for vaccine and supplies, nursing clinic and supplies. And you can see the beginning balance, the expenses that we had. The state did appropriate $33,139 for that fund, and we have an ending balance of $110,659.48. And as far as the there's another state trust grant, and a big part of that grant is to pay our health educator emergency prepared person. And so like that $890 goes for that. But you can see what our starting balance is now. Of the cash balance of $57,773, that $20,000 comes out of that, and then the state appropriated us the $15,200. So our expenses totaled up to $24,000, and we have an ending balance there of $48,901. So page 6 is the bioterrorism fund, which is just sitting there, and we hope that we never have to use it. Page below that is the money's collected from vaccines, and you can see what our starting balance was, and then we collected the $859 for an ending balance of $4,300. So. Page 7, the public health preparedness and emergency response. That one is, so we had a base value of $25,000, and again, part of that pays for the salary of the emergency preparedness coordinator, and the Medicare and all that goes with it, storage equipment. So the total that expenses out of that was the $20,000. The state did give us from the auditor the $19,000. So, and I'm not sure what was the ending balance for that. Do we know?
No, there's no ending balance because this is a grant reimbursement. So
Okay.
we pay out, they reimburse us.
So yeah, so basically we spend it, they give it back to us. Page 8 is regarding the COVID-19 testing site and the grant money that we received appropriated from the state for that, and the expenses that we had. We did receive $50,000, and we still have a balance on that as well. We think that we have to use that money by June 30th, and so we're looking for ways to spend it to get use out of it. And we've contacted some people, and they're just not answering us. The again, for the vaccine site, this is where the county gave us money. So we had $100,000 from the county, and then we had some other money that had been appropriated or left over, and we did spend $84,885 out of that.
Is it possible to reimburse the county with those monies that you're,
Well, that's what we're looking into, what we can reimburse back.
okay?
Yeah, we are looking into that. Because, we actually only used, because of the money that they gave us, $12,537 of the county money, right?
For the first quarter.
For the, no, this is last year.
Oh, last year, okay.
So that's a possibility. Page 10 is just the vital statistics report, and that is, birth certificates, death certificates, the permits that we issued, how many deaths were recorded in the county. It was 155, and about half of those were COVID. Then we have the sanitarians report, and that's all broken down into the separate areas that he covers, as far as the sewage, the septic permits, and all that, and other complaints, the inspections that were made,
Back on your vital statistics, it says the second line there, is that correct? It says the total recorded as of December 31st, 2020 is 36,074 births and 28,180 deaths.
Are you talking the top part of it?
Oh, at the top?
That we calculate for years, so we just keep adding to, like, what for the period of time. I couldn't tell you, but that's what so far they've calculated over the years,
That they
several
have
years.
computer records of.
Yes.
And you don't know the date of that?
I don't.
Okay.
I do not, no.
Don't know really when that started, no.
So where does it say how many deaths recorded? Is it 155 of last year? Would that be the accurate?
Yes.
How many people died in Vermilion County, 155?
Yes.
In Vermilion County, if they passed away outside of the county, we don't get those. We just get like an out-of-county death report monthly.
Okay.
So there could be more residents that passed away, but they weren't in the county, living in the county when it happened.
And do you currently have this on file for the previous years back, this thing? If I could see it, I've lived like,
Yeah.
last 5 years, I'd love to see that.
When
You
you
want
get that?
just that page?
Yeah, just that page.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we talked about sanitation, and then our public health nurse report of what her activities have been. A lot of it has been COVID, because that's just consumed everything past couple of years. She, we have the other vaccinations that we're giving as well. We're going to try and increase, especially in the pediatric population, our immunization rates. We do have a lot of competition, because we have the FQHC, who has the mobile unit, who can go to the schools and offer vaccinations there. But we are going to be, as part of our COVID grant requirement, doing at least 2 at-school clinics for each north and south. And we also will have to do an after hours and per week, and a weekend per month of not just COVID, but regular vaccinations. So that's coming up. We had just mentioned down here, there was 2 cases of latent TB. One of those was actually disproved as a false positive. So really just 1 in the county. We are trying to apply for a grant for
Step back one, on the lead cases, how is that measured?
Well, I haven't actually gotten a chance to look into those yet, but that's what I was getting ready to say, is there was a grant, that, the deadline was March 31st, and so I thought we were too late, but actually yesterday, the woman called us and asked us to go ahead and apply, because the funds have already been appropriated. So, we need to get our grant together. The only thing that might be a hang-up is that we have to have a certified lead inspector, okay, which involves a lot of training. And so we're looking at, I'm going to talk to Darren Brecken in Vigo County and see if maybe he has one that we can use on an as-needed basis versus, you know, paying all that money, and if the state will allow that. Because if they, or will they give us the grant money if we don't have one yet? We're planning to get one, so that's where.
This can't be on a consulting basis that you have a person?
I don't know. I just said, you know, is that a must? And they
The
said
lead
yes.
base, is this due to paint, due to water systems, or other?
Paint, water, they have, starting July 1st, the threshold for investigating for lead is being lowered. Right now it's at 10,
Right.
and they're gonna lower it to 5. Normal value is 3.5. So, as these kids get tested, if they're over 5, they should be referred to us. And then, you know, we would have Kim go in and with the kit and test the home and look for the source of the lead, and then we would follow those kids to make sure that they come down.
Do we have any geographical area that this is confined to?
The whole county.
So the 14 are just random 14, it's not in any particular
Oh,
part of the
no,
county?
like I said, I haven't had a chance to review those, so I'm not sure.
If it is concentrated in the county, we probably should know that.
Yeah, Penny, our public health nurse, has been off on medical leave, and so I'm just beginning to be able to pick her brain and find out where these things are.
Water systems are required every year, every so many years, to do copper and lead testing, and I think that information that the city of Clinton would probably
Yeah,
have
the
that on
city.
hand. The problem with that is the lead and copper issue is not really, I managed water companies for years, and the test is taken from their tap, and it's not so much the water company's water coming in, it's the reaction of the water setting in their pipes, which contain lead overnight. So there might be some information to the city on some of that.
Okay. Okay. And, you know, I think I looked at 60% of the homes in Indiana are built before 1980. So 78 is when they stopped using the lead-based paint. So there's a high potential for it. And we were just screening Medicaid children because they were getting screened through WIC. And the newer recommendation is to definitely screen and test for all children now, and not just the underserved. So, any other questions? And then the last one is just emergency preparedness, public health coordinator, outreach person, and the things that she had participated in over the last year. So. That's it.
As the county health is, there's a certification program through the state that our county board of health can possibly attain. Is that some type of goal that we have? Is it a consideration, or is it something
Well, we
that's
know
not
there
really
are
worthwhile?
only two departments in the whole state that have that accreditation.
I don't know how many.
So,
but
what you found out?
is it something that's not worthwhile, or is it just impossible to
I think
attain? Or
the cost would be more than the benefit.
okay.
I'd just like to say thanks for this report. This is fantastic. I know my first year here last year, I didn't really receive any of these, these quarterly reports. I would love to see those. And then next time, just, from my standpoint, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to read all of them either. I think we could, well, you know, highlight some of the things, but I mean, I think it's fantastic you have this here and the public and, you know, go to the auditor's office and get any of it. I think it's great, so thank you.
Where's this report available to the general public? Is
Yeah,
it
they
on?
can come in the office
Can
and
pick
they
it up
can
at the
come
health
and print it
department.
off for 'em. Yeah.
You could also send the auditor and see if they can put it on our site.
Well,
too.
that's why I was wondering if
Yeah.
we might be able to put it on the website.
Yep.
It might be a little easier access.
Yeah, we are supposed to be getting a website soon.
Okay.
And the state is working on that, so.
Awesome.
Very
Thank
good.
you all. Appreciate it.
Anyone have any questions to ask the health officer?
I think the most we've heard from the Board of Health in a long, long, long time. So I appreciate it.
Very good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Next
That's
we
good
have
information. I appreciate
Vermillion County Invasive Species Management Area, Billy Pig.
it. Oh, yeah.
B. What is this?
Doing all right?
Do you guys have these?
So far.
I printed off some packets. Do you guys have
Yes.
those?
Yeah,
Okay.
volunteers needed.
Yes. No, that is not. That's our flyer.
Yeah, we've got the conservation resource technician. Yep.
And I also have some about our SISMA that we're trying to start. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Start off though, I kind of wanted to introduce myself. Billy Pig. I am from Fountain County, and so that's where I was born and raised. I went to Fountain Central. Graduated from Manchester in 2017 with an environmental studies degree. My background is hydrology, fisheries, and I also did some conservation ag work. Invasive species, I worked for a company out of Bloomington doing invasive species work, so we worked all over the southern part of the state. We were the main people that covered kudzu, so if you guys know the vine that choked the South, we were the company that did that, and then also Crane Naval Base all over the southern part of the state. And I also worked for Ceres Solutions for a while, for 2 years there, and then I moved to Kansas. My fiance got a job out there, so we moved out there to Kansas, and I worked for co-ops out there. Helped me kind of gain some insight to a little bit different place than Indiana. My position is the Conservation Resource Technician. That is a grant-funded position that comes from a joint venture between, it is with Park and Vermillion County SWCDs, but the money comes from NACD, the National Association of Conservation Districts. Park and Vermillion applied for that grant, we're funded the grant, and that's what funds my position. And so everything that the county would be responsible for me as a county employee, the grant covers. So all my benefits, anything like that, the grant covers that. I assist with anything at day-to-day SWCD. So today we went out and helped a landowner with an erosion issue. He had a stream bank. I'm trying to start this SISMA. We're also applying for a 319 grant, and then I'm hoping to start a program to where citizens can test their local streams. So we will supply those materials. I will go out, train them, and then we supply the materials to them to test their streams. So the 319 grant, I just kind of want to do a little update on what's going on with it. We unfortunately did not get funded last year, but we are reapplying and changing the structure of the grant to just include the Mill Creek Wabash River watershed, which is mostly in Vermillion County, but is also in Park and Fountain. So it starts up in Yeddo and ends in Clinton. So right now we have 6 lab testing sites that I collect those once a month, and they go to Indy. And those are nitrates, phosphates, and suspended sediment, and also E. coli. And then we also have
6 different sites on the river, or?
it is on the tributaries of the river mostly. We are working with a company, Orion Consultants. She is our grant coordinator, watershed coordinator right now, and we have a meeting with her to kind of determine if we want to move to the river or not. The only problem with that is it's a little dangerous because I am in the streams most of the time collecting this. So, I mean, the Wabash is all right, but I don't know if I always want to be in there. But most of them are the smaller tributaries, Mill Creek, and then we have Feather Creek, Norton Creek, Buck Creek,
Creek.
Well,
Burlett's Creek.
we don't go that far south. It's that watershed is south of where we go. We changed it because there were some wording issues, and they also thought we didn't have enough sites, so we thought focusing on just Vermillion County, beef up our number of sites. robust they wanted more robust sampling, and that's what this is going for. IDEM is going to cover the Park County side of this, and they will be doing a TMDL, which is they will do all the sampling that we are doing now, but IDEM will handle that. If we get funded, which funding will be notified in November, if funded, this will be a planning grant. So we'll set up a watershed management plan, and then after this 1-year grant, we will reapply for an implementation grant, which will be where the big dollars come into the county and we implement some of these conservation things that are in the works. So that's a little update on the, and I know it may be a little hard to see, but I threw a map in of the watershed. You can kind of get an idea of where it lays. If you guys are interested, I can also get you a better picture of that. So the big thing I'm here for is this SISMA that we're trying to start, and part of this position is there was so much work on Eric at the SWCD that he was about to his limit. So I came in, and now we're able to do these. Like, I am in charge of the 319 grant. I'm in charge of the SISMA. I'm in charge of this citizen testing stuff. So this position that I have is allowing the SWCD to have way more reach, double the reach in both counties than what Deb or Eric had. So the SISMA is my big baby. They said this is my project. It is a cooperative invasive species management area, and the focus is on really private landowners, working with them to tackle the invasive species problem on their land. So what this will do, it was started as a project between NRCS and SICM, which is started as Southern Indiana Invasive Management, and now it is the state of Indiana. So they created these SISMAs to have 5 regional specialists that will go out and provide the technical assistance to landowners. They will help with surveying, inventory, and management plans of any invasive species. So all you really have to do is be interested, willing to learn, and we're going to try to teach you as much as we can.
Real quickly,
Go ahead.
without getting too in-depth, when you're talking about invasive species,
Yes, sir.
what would that, I know you got these thorns or thistles that come up in the right-of-way and the highway and stuff like that. What else?
Really the main focuses are really our honeysuckle. If you drive along any highway, anything that's pretty well green right now, or that you saw earlier into April that was green, bush honeysuckle's our big thing. Garlic mustard. If you guys got woods, that'll get sheets of garlic mustard. So really it's educational right now. Is so many people don't know. Like I think this is my 8th presentation for this, and every one somebody's been like, well, I didn't even know that these things were bad. So that's really what we're trying to tackle here, is the educational from the beginning, and then we'll work our way up to native plant sales and all this other stuff to hopefully help people know what's bad and what's good.
How will people know about your program in the county, that it's available?
Well, we're working on, it'll be really through the Vermilion SWCD website. We'll have a tab on there, but also our Facebook page. Invasive Species Week was, I want to say, the last week of March, early April, somewhere in there. And so I posted about invasive species and kind of native alternatives to that. And so really it's just going to be that Facebook page and our website as advertising. And then Eric also shares it to Cayuga, Clinton, all the local communities. So that's how we're really advertising this. But our first big event is going to be a weed wrangle at Trailhead Park. So you heard from Les and Tom a little bit about the park. So we're going to go out there, and it'll be a 3-hour event. The first half of the day is going to be educational, what's out there, and ID and that kind of stuff. And then the second half will be actually removal techniques. So we'll take people out, we'll have them cutting this stuff down. I have my commercial pesticide applicator's license, so I will be treating stumps. And I've already covered, I know that's a bat, there's protected areas out there for bats, so I've covered that with the RISE. And so that'll be our first major thing. We're going to continue to do these public outreach, educational events, and like I said, that technical assistance of Amber Slaughterback, who is our regional specialist. She will come up for free, she will survey your land, she will tell you what's there, and kind of help you get a way to treat that. Some potential projects we'd like to do are, like I said, a bounty program. You take a picture of an invasive, cut it down, take a picture of the stump, bring it to us. We will refund you money for you to buy a native alternative. So that's that's down the road. That'll be grants. The second, or SISMA itself will apply for grants, and those will be funneled through a 501c3.
The only thing that covers poison ivy, my backwoods have just been ate up with poison ivy. I mean, I cut it out, it grows, it kills the trees. Honest to God, truth, it kills the trees.
And that would be like TSI, that would NRCS, or yeah, that would be a EQIP type thing.
That's not an invasive though.
It's not even. See, that's what the problem. There's noxious and then invasive.
But it's killing trees. It actually kills trees.
It's still not
Yeah,
invasive.
and so I had that conversation with somebody last night about like grapevine. It's the same thing. It kills the trees, but we can't do anything. That's not really our place. Other things that are.
You would have a solution to that. Okay.
I can tell
That's
you how
all.
to treat it,
Okay.
but signage along trails. I think we have all these really great trails in the county. I mean, we have this Heritage Trail and the one Tom and Les were talking about from Montezuma across to Hillsdale. If we can do some signage out there, invasive species signage or native signage or any type of that kind of stuff, just more educational. People see our logo, they want to know what SICM is, they want to know what a SISM is, they want to know what this stuff is. Those educational things, simple things like boot cleaning stations. I think a boot brush is like, I looked them up and they were like 25 to 50 bucks. So if we put one at the start of the trails, the end of the trails, wipe your boots off before you start, wipe your boots off when you're done. That's just something simple. And then I talked to like the Rotary last night, and if they wanted to put their name with that, that's way to outreach for the Rotary. I mean, we're doing things to try to get these organizations recognized within the communities. And then also would like to do some things with like 4-H groups. If we can do some plantings at the 4-H, the fairs, the fairgrounds, do plantings around the community and have fairgrounds as like they adopt a space. So as part of their service, they would take care of and maintain that space. So that'd be another thing I'm trying to get rolling. Talked to Kurt, Land Zone in Park County, and Phil here in Vermillion, and they're both on board with this, and they think it's a great idea. And then part of that would be the green infrastructure. So making these plantings here, instead of just having mulch or whatever, throw some plantings in there and people will take care of it. I threw in some just basic stuff on some educational stuff we'll try to do. Just some pictures of some invasive species. Talked about a little bit of removal techniques. Just trying to give you guys an idea of some of the stuff we're going to cover. Go over the different kinds of invasive techniques. Showed some pictures of that, and then some native alternatives of some of those invasive species. But really, it was just kind of I know I say quick, but I could have gone a lot more. But quick overview of what this SISM is and kind of what the SWCD is doing and what my position is. So if you guys have any questions.
Anything you want to post, please forward it to our auditor and we'll put it on the site. You know, if you want to reach the community, we'd make that available to you guys.
Okay. We're hoping to have a public meeting, here. I'm getting married Saturday, so I'm going to be gone the first week of May. So hopefully when I get back from that, I'm hoping to advertise a public meeting, and we want to have that probably Hillsdale, somewhere centrally located between the two counties. Introduce the SISMA to the public, and then also advertise pretty heavy this weed wrangle going on. So when I'll shoot that out to you guys and let you know when that's going to be, and also shoot you that flyer for the weed wrangle as well.
You're coordinating all these signs and things with the various groups like Vermillion Trails and...
Yeah, and I've talked to Les and Tom. They seem to be at every meeting I go to. But yeah, it would be with them, and if there's something they want to put their name on, we'll work with them on getting something set up.
Have you worked with the schools at all with the environmental end of this?
I have talked to, I'm blanking on her name, but she is South Vermillion. I've talked to a teacher from South Vermillion, and she is very interested in trying to teach some of this stuff. With the new building going up at North Vermillion, I would like to, when that's built, come in with some pollinator plantings and do some educational signage there, something like that. That's the kind of things that I envision. I just have to talk to the schools yet. Right now it's a 10-step program and starting this, and I'm in step 3. So long ways to go, but right now working on building support.
And with your signs and so forth, are we coordinating that between highway, trails, and parks? are we having any type of coordination, or you see any type of coordination going on with those?
I'd like to work
Multi-use
with,
signs or whatever?
I'd like to work with the highway department. I don't know how willing they would be as far as that, but the parks, I've talked to Vermillion Parks, they're totally on board with all this, and the trails, and everybody so far has been willing to work, and we're going to form a steering committee for this as well. So hopefully all those entities will come together and work together and share ideas.
We're going to be, the AMP program, the asset management plan is coming together here next week, and if you have a request for signs and so forth that might be affected by the highway, or if there's certain designations, you need to get that request into the highway.
Okay.
So, or be thinking about it anyway, if not this year, next year.
Okay. But, go ahead. If you
Thank
guys don't
you.
have any questions, that's all I have for you guys tonight. If anybody else would want any of these flyers to look over, I've got gobs, so if anybody would like one, I'll set some back here and you can pick them up.
So you excited for Saturday?
We've been planning this since over a year, since
Okay.
before we moved to Kansas last year in January, so I'm kind of ready for it to
Ready.
just be done.
Have you been to the niches one, the trails in, where they have in Fountain County, the niches? They have the little things where you clean your boots off, and then it tells you what all the different plants
I
are.
haven't been to that one, but I know
Very
Hamilton
cool.
County had a very big program of that. And you put a boot station in,
Yep.
then you put a sign behind it. This was donated by such
Yeah.
and such.
Very cool.
And that looks good on their community. They're reaching out. So, I mean, really, that's what I envision.
You know, all the trails I've been on so far have those boot stations in them, and also a sign-in sheet with them as well.
Let me know, I'll
Did you say what
sponsor one.
SISMA was? Did you say
Yeah,
what
I
it
did.
stands for?
Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area.
Okay. I didn't hear you at first. So.
Oh, you're all right. Yeah, I think I have it in there in the presentation.
It's in here, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know if the public heard you, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, and congratulations for Saturday.
Yeah.
Next is ordinance 2022-09, overseeing ARP money. Or AOC.
If there's if there's no objection, I'd like to read this as a first reading and pass it as a first reading as well. I know in some ordinances we like to do it as twice, but I don't see this being an issue passing this in a first reading unless you guys would like to table it till next one.
I thought we already made a committee, quite frankly. Did we not?
Well, I thought.
I guess it's formalized. Is this
Yeah,
an ordinance?
formalize. Yeah, I think it's formalizing.
Is this a requirement of ARP?
It could be. Brenda's not here, so I'm not sure. It is a requirement. It probably is. Yeah.
To pass an ordinance?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with passing it
On first reading? Okay.
If nobody else
I don't
does.
either.
You don't? All right. I would.
That does take you unanimous, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think so for a first reading. If there's no objection, I'd like to make a motion to pass County Ordinance number 2022-08 by title, overseeing American Rescue Plan money, and ordinance to oversee the money from the American Rescue Plan.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 2022-04, signing of NDOT agreement, ERC.
Aye. I'll wait for discussion, I guess, if there's gonna be a motion. If there's no motion, I'd like to change something on it, but
Was this something we needed passed pretty quickly so you can sign stuff for the grants?
who's she?
Probably NDOT, for the NDOT coordinator.
The problem, this varies from the template. It's actually given our ERC, which we may have more than one. We have one right now.
Well, we did have two.
Well, we-
Had the other one, I don't know if she's still,
I've asked her to make sure she gets her, so
She
we always
needs to.
have two on the county's side. The problem I have is having the employee, the ERC, signing these instead of the president of the board. That means that they can sign anything, anytime. There's not any restrictions to it. By all rights, this should be the president of the board, and I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with the ERC. There's no accountability there. Sorry, but there isn't. at least the commissioner, president of the commissioners is accountable to the commissioners. And you still.
Well,
need a
I
per-
think we can, is this a form from the state, that the state sent you to have approved?
The form actually says the president, not the ERC though, the president of the commissioners. This says the ERC will sign for the commissioners.
Well, I think it needs to be included somewhere that it has to take approval of the county president, of county commissioners, or,
Well, I think that it just should be the president of the county commissioners sign for it.
you know.
If
don't-
the commissioners don't sign individually for it, it allows you to sign, assuming that there's at least 2 commissioners agreeing to it.
So, so is the state one strictly president of the commissioners, and we changed it to the ERC, or?
I wasn't sure on what exactly needed to be done. I had sent it to John to kind of read over it, but he was busy and didn't get back to me, so I kind of just put it together.
Okay.
Is there a reason why you changed it to ERC instead of president?
That's what I thought NDOT wanted because they're needing someone to sign the agreements. I don't know exactly what they were wanting. She just said it needs to be done.
John, can this be edited?
Could we like maybe add like you said, maybe the president? My only concern is, let's say we do need something signed and Tim's unavailable or somebody's unavailable. We want to make sure there's a second person that can sign some. We don't want to lose out on grant opportunities if we make a mistake and someone forgets to sign something.
Well, that's what this does. This is supposed to be signed by all 3 commissioners, but if we have got at least 2 of the 3 commissioners that have agreed to something, and you don't have the signatures, then it allows the president to sign for the commissioners.
However
That's
we
what
can
the
word that's
intent
fine
was.
with me to be added to this.
Well, the ERC shouldn't be involved. That's not the employee responsible charge is for access to the NDOT system. That has nothing to do with approval of things.
So would you?
It's a technician.
So would you guys rather just strike the ERC from authorization and just put authorization, maybe Board of Commissioners?
I don't know if I have it with me. They actually have a template that seems reasonable, which basically reads the same, except that it's instead of the
authorization
ERC,
is-
it puts the president in that place. But I think if we go back, I don't know if I have it with me here.
Wasn't John? Can we pass this just with the amendment that we change the authorization with?
If all 3 of you are in
If
agreement.
everybody's in agreement with that.
What's your proposal?
We pass this resolution with the authorization with the amendment of the state template that was sent out, authorizing the commissioners.
If we have to do that, is it?
She's
What
going to
is-
sign it, but we think that the approval ought to become through us before she has the approval to sign it, which I,
No, that's not what he's saying. And that's not the way that the thing reads, not the template. The template says the president, if the 3 of us don't sign the document and we go in between sessions, but we've already agreed to whatever the NDOT grant was or whatever the thing is, that the president can sign for that. That you don't have to go chase down RJ, you don't have to chase down me. You can sign it as the president of the board.
okay.
That's what the original template says. This says something different. She shouldn't be signing these things. She's putting all that data together, and we're supposed to be reviewing that data and then agreeing to it and then signing that. To pass that responsibility onto her is not fair to her, for one, and it's not fair to the county. If she screws up, that's a big deal. I mean, some of these are pretty big deals, and so that's a commissioner responsibility, not an ERC responsibility.
So we need to make a decision here. Do we table it to get more of a better?
Well, I wish I had do you have the original template that they sent?
Yeah, and on my desk.
If we can go on with the meeting and then see what
Okay.
that original template was, I think I'm in agreement with the template. I don't have a problem with it. I do have an issue with the way this one's written though.
So you want to go on and then come back?
If that's
Sure.
all right with you all.
What's next after that?
Office and-
department. Well, I mean, she probably won't be a few minutes. I'd rather just wait, and if we can do it now, just,
That's fine too.
yeah. I'm afraid
We
we might
want
get
to
a.
let Someone come up here and speak as part of economic development. So they can
Yeah, so
leave.
Doug, you trying to get?
Um,
I'm not staying much longer either, man.
But Doug, would you come up? You
Yeah,
had a
come on
meeting
up.
with NDOT that,
So you want me to just give the economic development update?
That's.
Or do you want me to
I
just
don't
talk
know if
about
you're
the
ready
NDOT?
to do that or not, but at least the meeting that you
Oh,
had with
okay.
NDOT,
I did not make that meeting.
I know.
I did. So anyways,
proud
Doug
of
has
you.
economic development. So yes, on Thursday we had a meeting with NDOT. Really two things were on the agenda that day. Nothing was decided, but they did present to me the, what is it, 234 and 63 intersection up there. They are looking at perhaps putting a J-turn in that section up there. So we talked through that process of what it would look like. They gave some statistics, unfortunately I don't have those with me, of the type of impact that I think it was something like a 90% drop in major impacts would occur if they have a J turn compared to what we currently have up there with the stoplight or a blinking light up there. Also, there's some concerns of trucks and or school buses sitting in the middle of the interstate there. So there's some hazards. So that's another reason why they wanted to look at the J turns there as well. The other thing that we talked about was up there on 163 in front of Walmart, McDonald's, and some different ways that we could look at maybe easing some of that traffic flow up there. There were some suggestions that were thrown out, and we just basically agreed that we would continue to look at that, and some recommendations that we thought would be good, but they wanted to study that as well. So that was really the two main things that we talked about at that meeting.
They didn't have any conceptual ideas about that, 163 and 63?
Well, it was kind of interesting. So we were thinking,
If you're not ready to get into that, we can.
well, I mean, I'm happy to talk about some of the things. I just want to be clear that nothing was set in stone. These were just ideas that were being thrown out there. One thing that a lot of people, myself included, asked, why isn't there a stoplight there in front of Walmart / McDonald's in terms of that? They said that basically based on the data, it didn't warrant it. But if we moved it, the entrance to McDonald's and or Walmart back a few feet, so between McDonald's and AutoZone, there's a frontage there that's not been developed. If we put a service road there and had McDonald's enter from the back, something very similar like they do at Crawfordsville McDonald's, and then took the Walmart entrance and moved it to that area as well, and put a stoplight there, that they said that could possibly warrant a stoplight there. Again, those were just one examples that we were looking at as possibilities regarding that area up there. Something else we talked about is maybe putting a lane or a road back behind the Walmart AutoZone to connect to 200, County Road 200, back there to ease a little bit of the traffic as well. So a lot of different suggestions, but they wanted to study it to see if it made sense. And again, that was just kind of a brainstorming session that we had that day.
Peace County owns part of that property there between Walmart and
Subway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was something else that we talked about, is putting a drive between, what is it, Walmart, Subway, Taco Bell, Shepherd's Gas, and then be on the north side have a road that would ease some of the traffic as well. Especially if somebody wanted to hit 63, they could go to 200, shoot up the Hazel Bluff Road, and then hit the stoplight out there instead of trying to do the 163, 63. So
years ago, there was a councilman by last name of D'Amica was trying to get that road open that went from the Subway to there, and I'd like to see us go back and open that up, name it after him. You know, I mean, it was something he had before he passed away.
Sure.
But that would ease a lot of traffic right there going to that area. It's already county property anyway.
Yeah. So we talked about all those, but nothing, like I said, was set in stone.
Did they say anything about accident reports there?
I don't recall. I mean, because I did say that I was
That's all right.
surprised that there wasn't more accidents up there. than there is, and I remember them telling me a figure, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it was, and I don't want to say it and be wrong.
The third thing that was supposed to be discussed was the bridge over 163 Burlett's Creek.
Yeah, we talked very briefly about that because the other two went pretty long with our dreaming of what this could do and that do, and so they wanted to have another meeting to talk specifically about the bridge.
Good.
Thank you.
Did you want to see if, Doug, did you have any other economic development update, or did you just want to see if he?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
I want this to read and I'll get ready to put it in.
Well, I think just glancing at this, you could just put
Commissioners of Vermillion County, Indiana, is the blank legislative and executive body.
Have you got a copy of this? You need to look at this. You look at mine.
I was just meaning whatever they sent in the template, just put that right there. Just
change that part,
isn't that what you were talking about, Brendan?
Yeah.
just the authorization.
I think just changing that and putting the president
that
of
was in
Vermillion.
there.
Yeah.
I don't have,
Yeah, I think
I don't
it,
have a problem with that, I just
Yeah.
don't know why they
president,
needed
the
something
commissioner,
quick.
or another commissioner, if I'm gone or sick or out
Well,
of the country.
if you're not available, then it falls back to the
Okay.
vice president.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure,
anyway, so-
like he was saying, that someone
So
would
could-
be available. or
yeah.
something like that.
Well, anytime the president's is incapacitated or not available in any way, then it falls back to the vice president, so.
Yeah, probably.
That gives RJ the potential to do that.
John said he's fine with it.
Okay.
Yes.
So could we pass that resolution with just the amendment of the authorization?
Right now.
No, we can do that, but she didn't have to be all.
That's what I mean. If
Yes,
if you guys aren't opposed, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-04, a resolution of the Vermillion County, Indiana Commissioners concerning authorization for execution of NDOT agreements, with a change from one authorization, from it being the ERC in charge to the president of the commissioners.
Just read it as this.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
change
you don't even
it
have
to the
that.
president of the commissioners is hereby authorized and confirmed to have the authority to execute any NDOT agreement and all their agreements related thereto, and all documents related to any NDOT grant programs for and on behalf and to bind Vermillion County, Indiana.
I'll second the motion to approve the resolution.
Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. I'm going to cover that.
Yeah, I think we've already done the ARPA thing, didn't we?
E91 thing.
Yep.
It's not on there, is it?
Oh, do you want me to go ahead and do it real
Go
quick?
ahead and do it.
Yeah, so our new 911 director, Mr. Miller, sent us E911 update, and I'd like to read that update aloud. Since he's been appointed, he has corrected 13 addresses. He has moved addresses to correct locations, 16 of those. 8 added new addresses, 76 changed business labels that were wrong, and 1 corrected landing zone for a helicopter. So
Where'd that go?
What's that?
The helicopter.
I don't know where the
Probably for the hospital.
Is that
Yeah.
Is there another one, or is that the one that they were talking about?
I don't know which one it is. He didn't give
I know.
give the thing on it, but
I just wondered.
yeah, one of them was
If we had
corrected.
another one or something.
I appreciate him giving a report.
Yeah, that's
And
nice.
like-
Yeah, getting that.
Well, that's a lot of work that's been done in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I'd say within 9.
Very short.
The Miss
Yeah.
Paula Market coming, and I think all this is great.
All this is
presentation.
coming together well.
It is.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. All, they're not here, but thank you. Thank the ones who did all this.
We'll back up on this and go to the ARP and just give you a little bit of update. The status of broadband, the award was given last week to Joint, and the amount of money we had involved is around $700,000. Is that the right figure?
Yep. Maybe
For
it is
the
a little bit more.
project. It's mainly northern part of the county, which is very much needed. We had our first meeting, ARP committee. We have start outlining and setting our goals and trying to get where we're going with it. We're scheduling meetings with Joint. We're scheduling a meeting with AT&T, and there's one other we're scheduled meeting, but we're trying to figure out what can be done in our county. as far as broadband and try to figure out how we can assist people that can't have internet service. There are some people never going to get it. I mean, it's just, if we can determine that, we want to try to figure out some way we can help maybe get them at least signed up and at least pay for their to get the service. But this is a lot of study we're trying to do. We're trying to come up with what we can and cannot do, what's available. I know that Starlink is in the area now. Brenda Furry has it, and she says it works wonderful. So we're even checking that out.
Is that the Elon Musk thing?
Yeah.
Are you guys going to talk with Starlink?
We're trying to. Starlink is hard to get a hold of. It's all on. You can't really talk to anybody.
Talk to the satellite?
Yeah. But anyway, we're going that way. Also, we're looking at how we can and take the money that we have. We got 1.5 last year. We'll give about another 1.5 within the next month. So we'll have a total of $3 million, roughly $700,000 that's spent, plus $25,000 has been spent with the accountants to oversee the funding. They're always on overseeing that, and it's a good thing to protecting us.
Do we need the accounting firm any longer since all that's been moved over to county funds?
I think it's good investment to oversee it, to make sure we don't, that was original. It hasn't really been.
But did we not spend, well, I guess the question is, did we not spend the money already? In other words, we have reimbursed the county for, it's gone into the general fund now.
1.5 million is.
Well, and
We
then
have
when we
that.
get the next 1.5 million, it'll be the same way, will it not?
Right.
So we have spent the money. So what are we going to oversee any longer with it?
What do you mean by we spent the money?
We have allocated the money to the general fund by resolution, or by ordinance or resolution last meeting. So therefore, we have said that we have spent the money, we have reimbursed the county for lost revenue, if I believe that was the
If
case.
we want to go that route.
I thought we already did. Do we
We're
not?
making an option that they can use it for lost
Yeah,
revenue.
it's like an option, yes.
Well, I thought we passed, did we not pass a resolution? Or
It's not in the
maybe I'm
general
dreaming
fund.
that we were going
It's
to.
not in the general fund, it's in its own fund, ARP has its
Yeah.
own fund.
Yeah.
I know, but
We did do some type of resolution, but according to Brenda, the state of Indiana recommended that, and you could spend it on anything. It like opened the doors where you didn't
well, that's
have.
what I mean, we spent the money, we spent it to our general fund.
It will be in our general fund. We haven't, only thing we spent so far out of all this is around $725,000.
And that was out of the ARP fund.
And the $25,000 for the overseeing of it.
I think what Britton is asking is more or less, since we've gotten the money, do we need the accounting anymore? Is that?
That's where it comes, we've already accounted for the money. It's gone to
Do we still
our general
need?
fund. Do we still
That's
need
something that we
to
need
be
to
accounting
research.
for it again,
Yeah.
or to continue to account for
Yeah.
it?
Do you still need Baker Tilly or whoever it is?
Well, when it first came out, it was very restrictive, and that was insurance to make sure we didn't make a mistake, which is good investment. So
Well, I
agree.
understand,
You
but
need to
we're not
investigate
doing
it.
that we're not under that umbrella anymore, or underneath that pressure to do that anymore. We're under, if we want to account for it, but we're spending money that
Yeah.
I'm
Has that
not
already
sure
been
is.
sent to them, the 25,000?
Yeah, it's not out of, but we're not spending it out of county general, we're actually spending it out of the ARP money.
But has that already been sent to them? We had a contract with them, so.
To joint,
No,
to
he's talking
Baker
about
Tilly.
25,000.
Baker Tilly, I think it's
I wa-
already been paid.
We approved
And I
that.
think it came out of the ARP funds.
But is that not an hourly, that was an hourly thing, though. It was not a bulk $25,000 and we will do
No, I
everything.
think we paid them for everything, I don't think it was $25,000, but I think we paid them for what they've done so far.
Right, and they're due that.
Right.
But what I'm saying, why
Well, we
do
need
we
to look
want to
into that.
incur, why do we want to continue to incur the costs over and above what we've incurred?
Why don't we do some research on that and talk about it by the next meeting?
Okay, and
Talk with
maybe we
Brenda.
can ask Baker Tilly to, unless there's something pressing, to go on a hold here instead of continuing to spend
Yeah.
the money until we find that out.
Well,
We could ask
let's
Brenda to
research
do
that next meeting. Come up with the
That's fine with me.
answer. Talk to Brenda and see what she has to say too. Can you put that on the agenda for next meeting? So, we have a good committee. We'll be meeting again here shortly. We want to see how much we can take the money. We'd love to see use it for funding of projects that is the seed money, like the 20% down and stuff, where it can be expanded. We're trying to make this, and we also look at location to the county. We need to look at where we benefit the whole county in some way, not just one area, or, you know, we don't want to, but we're getting to a place where we're starting to find out what we're trying to do, and we'll bring it back to you all and make recommendations. And like I said, we have a very good board. We have Bart Mooney on there now, and we need someone who knows technical stuff with internet, and he's a very, very valuable asset in talking about this stuff. So we're making some progress. We can have a report to you each time we have a meeting. I'll bring it to the commission meeting and go from there. So, okay. Economic Development, County Space Office Allocation. Brett, you want to talk about that? Or any of you want to talk about it?
We have some well, there's two things here. One, we have some conceptual ideas of what
Brett's
type
made
of
drawings of the interior,
what
different
type
plans.
of office space we can allocate, and it can all be partitioned in different ways, but it does give us an idea of how that can be divided up and what type of office space we would want, depending on who occupies it. And RJ, have you had a chance to look at any the potential departments or
Yeah,
offices
I
or
would like to.
whatever?
I would like to ask the commissioners for some support tonight to set up some meetings with the
Yes.
three of us administratively with some of these office holders to bring them in and talk to them, because there may be some that don't think they'd be a good fit, or like your one drawing here, there could be 10 offices over there. You know, we could maybe do a lot. So with your guys' permission, I'd like to seek out some times that are good for you guys, that we could come in here and meet with office holders, and maybe, I don't want to set it up like budget hearings, but have maybe a few meetings that day and knock it all out.
Find
Let
out
me
what
see,
interests
we
are.
have the heat and air conditioning over there, right?
Yeah.
Why not have
I
a
didn't
meeting
turn
over
it
there
on.
with them where they can actually see it too?
Oh, I don't. We can have it. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you guys are okay with me spearheading,
Oh, yeah.
getting the meeting together and getting dates with you guys. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, if you guys want to meet over there, that's fine. That's.
I mean, it don't matter to me where you guys want.
I mean, if you want to, I guess we could show them the drawings and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and again, those can be morphed into different spaces, but it gives a concept of what can be done.
I'll send out an email tonight to you guys, and
I have a question. Have you guys, I know we haven't taken ownership of it yet, but have you reallocated the electric bill to come to the courthouse yet? Any of that stuff?
I did not, but I believe I asked Brenda to do that, the electric and the water and the
I just want to make sure, 'cause we haven't received it
sewer.
yet. I didn't know if it would be after closing, because we're receiving all of our Duke bills are right now. So we haven't received one for it yet, so.
You might ask Brenda. I did make the request that all the bills be transferred over, but I don't know that it's actually been done.
okay, I'll send that out tonight to you guys then, and the other office holders.
Yeah, I
Set
think
up-
all there is electric, and then there's water and sewer for
Yeah,
Newport.
that's what I said, the water and sewer and.
But there is no
electric
gas.
stuff.
No. The internet service is still, I mean, we go in there.
It's available, or it's wired.
The wired, I'm saying
The
the
wires
wires.
are into it, but it's not, no service at this point.
But that was fiber going in there, wasn't it? It had to be for the bank.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The other thing that needs to be decided also is, when we decide who's going in, I guess, we did change of locks and
Yeah.
some of the
We
other
do need
things
to
that are
address that
going on.
radon issue.
Pardon?
The radon issue, we need to address that.
Yeah, that'll be whenever we decide what
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
space, we'll address that at the same time. We also need to do a lead-based paint in there too, so, yeah, especially if we're gonna be taking walls out.
Okay. So you'll get back with us, RJ?
Yeah, I'll send something out tonight for you guys. Looking.
Okay. Brett, did you have anything update on the county regional engineer status?
No, I sent to you guys the pros, or the con, I don't know if there's cons in it, but the pros of the regional engineer. I've not heard back from it. It's moving slowly. I don't know how, I'm going to be presenting this in front of the IACC, I think it's what it's called, Association of County Commissioners.
Oh, really?
At our next meeting, which is not till June maybe, or whenever that is, down here at Sycamore.
Yep.
I'm hoping to garner some support from that as well. I don't know that we can find us a county engineer right now anyway, if we even wanted to find one, or if, I know we want to find one, but whether one would be available for a reasonable surprised. Park County had one at one time, and then they lost theirs, and they haven't had one since, I don't believe. In fact, it was Tom Martin. That's the problem with county engineers. If we get one, if you lose them, then
Right.
you're out in left field for a while. So I'm hoping that the state will continue. The idea here is that NDOT will provide a regional engineer, just like they do with the soil and water conservation districts, like the 4-H extension agents, et cetera, so that it becomes a regional engineer that is an NDOT engineer that has access to all the NDOT engineers, staff, administration, softwares, the various different components that NDOT provides. And with that, they can operate it underneath a professional engineer under NDOT, like most of them do now. And if we lose one, they can easily replace one right back in, or slide one person back into that position. And that would cover a multi-county or a regional area, whether it be 2 counties or 3 counties. And that's the idea. It passed NDOT originally with their first review, legal review. The last I heard, and I didn't check this week, but and not last week either, but 2 weeks ago when I checked, it was in front of legal in Indianapolis now with NDOT. So I'm not sure that it has a priority, but I found out if we try to threaten their funding in some way, they do act faster. So we're looking for reasons to be able to do that, to act faster.
Also, me meeting with Jim Meese this week about that too. Just talk to him, see what's going on, and have a plan B, so we know what's going on there. So
it would help if they would be. I've not approached them yet.
Okay. I'll talk to him Friday. If you
and,
tell me what you want
Moore.
me to talk to him about, I will.
Yeah, I'll forward that. I'll forward the pros to it
Okay.
anyway, and it would be a benefit to all these small counties, and actually it's a benefit to the larger counties too, because it would give them a direct insight to, or direct avenue into NDOT as well, whether it's in Indianapolis or Evansville or whatever it might be. It would give them a little bit more pull inside NDOT anyway of what's going on and why it's going on, or being able to find out where things are sitting as far as their approvals go. It would definitely help us with NDOT, but just with Highway 236 up here and those type things that are going on with J-turns and oblique angles on some of our highways and so forth. It would expedite that along.
I'll get with him. You send me what you got, and I'll talk with him, and anything we can coordinate with another county is a plus. IT, MITS specialists.
We're getting to the point that we're going to. This is more, I guess, for next year. We're spending monies and we don't know where it goes with our IT so far, and there's issues that keep coming up with IT and with communications all across the board, not just in the courthouse but in our satellites as well. Mike Phelps continues to help, but he has a full-time job already being sheriff, so we'll have to muddle through, but it's something that we need to put on our budget for next year.
Yeah, for our
anyway.
commissioner's budget for sure.
Yeah.
Add that as a question mark in research when we submit our budget.
So is someone going to put that in the budget somewhere? Or?
I've got a
I
list
try to.
started of things that we need to discuss.
I think that kind of goes in with Kay down here with commissioner's budget prep. I think we need to just pick a date in May. Budgets are due when? June?
Yeah, June 1st.
June 1st. So we need to pick a date in May, the three of us in a work session, and iron out some things in the budget.
I agree with that 100%.
It'll be more than just highway. We've got other
Yeah,
things
I would
to
like
do as
I would
well.
like to start maybe do the highway one at the maybe District 2, and then maybe do the Commissioner's Court one maybe here next to the auditor. But yeah, we need to send some dates out to each other and figure out which date in May works best for everybody, and sit down and review those.
As far as your highway budget, I'd have Melissa involved, just because she does know the numbers
Well, so yeah, I meant
better than I do.
I thought, yeah, maybe we can do it here. Have Melissa come up here and bring the
She's
stuff.
done help me out a lot.
Yeah.
We're going on with the RISE. They're not here. They got some approval here from Attorney General's office, which made a difference in their status as far as it's almost like a municipality now, right? Or
It is municipal.
Yeah, it
The same
changed.
as a municipality.
And we went through the state to get that done for them, and it's completed. It'll help them also on insurance, different things.
It'd be mostly insurance. Apparently, there's arguments against them being able to go with community crossing grants and so forth. I'm not sure I'm in agreement with them, but that's what their position is so far anyway.
Community grant, crossing grant application 2, we might as well talk about that while we're on the subject. Last week, was it 643,000 is our grant, roughly? 640.
Around 613.
613.
I believe.
So we got roughly $613,000. I think we got it on the second round. You're going to be applying for District 1 for the amount. We usually can get a $1.3 million. We've been getting roughly. And so if you turn your part in and get it done by deadline, we'll have hopefully max out this grant.
It's ready.
Okay.
It's a matter of, is Melissa still going to be doing this
Yeah.
for us? Well,
With her.
well, it's submitted to
Okay.
her. It was submitted to her months ago.
Well, you need to call Melissa, or I'll tell her, but get in contact with her. She'll help you. That's good. So we're going to try to get the max again this year.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Commissioner's budget prep, we just talked about that, right? We don't have to go with that. The annex, the only thing we'll say again about the annex, Bose Sign has said they'd do it for $375, one side, and $375 the other side. They're needing a seal sent to them. Do we have the seal in a?
Digital format, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to see, I think we do, but
Yeah, I mean that we can actually send out when we want
Yeah.
for this sign,
a proof.
I have a bunch of them, bunch of the proofs, if you will.
I need one sent to me or sent to
of the original.
Ace Sign.
Now, he may need it in a certain, does he,
Yeah.
did he say he needs it in a certain format though?
I don't know.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
Because we have it, I just don't know how he's gonna want it, and I think it's actually on a JPEG, isn't it?
However it takes
It's-
for you to get it in the, for that, we want him to go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah, I don't have the software to convert it into what I think he probably will have to have. I don't have that.
Okay.
I have,
Have him get a hold of us so that we know what he needs, because we'll have to convert it or so.
Okay. Okay.
there's people that can do that, anyway.
And it's okay to have Vermillion County Courthouse Annex. That's the name's gonna be on there, right?
That's unofficial, that was fine with me, but that's
Yeah.
up to y'all too.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Okay. And
We'd
then-
still like to see a mock-up though before.
We will, but you guys need to get with me or tell me what you want to put on there additional, just beside that, if that's all you want.
I just like to see a mock-up of what they have with that. I mean, I don't
You know what, it might be better to have a sign made and have some room below it, so open, so whoever goes in there could be put on there. Or should we just wait until we figure out who's going in there and make the sign? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I think it might, I don't, no, I think it's gonna be the annex, I don't.
Yeah.
We can always put
Yeah,
a-
but I'm saying, would
another
you want the
sign.
offices listed on there? You only got 2 offices in there. It'd be nice to have it on the sign with
Yeah,
it.
I still think I'd like to have it say Vermillion County Courthouse Annex.
Yeah, it
on
would,
there.
but I'm saying then
I'll
have-
leave some space underneath it.
Yeah.
I don't have any objection to that. I mean,
Whatever the guy thinks.
Yeah, whatever he
We'll
thinks,
look
that's-
at it and
Okay.
say yay or nay.
Okay. We can get that done. Moving right along, we're getting close. This is another one of yours, Brett. The
What's
county
that?
interest water and sewer districts, best management practices. and
Yeah,
we've got some other.
we've had a number of issues going on with the water and sewer districts, in the towns and in the districts themselves. And I'd like to start a forum here, of best practices and start pulling in IDEM and a few others to start giving some guidance to these districts. It looks like they're not being, well, I'll just say it, I don't think they're being well managed at this point. Okay, I see your sign. But anyway, we need to bring these so that we don't run into issues as much as we've been running into here recently. I know it's not a county commissioner issue, but because it's a county issue and because I think we can pull all these together, I think that we need to provide best management practices and start some planning. And if we can assist with that as a county to all these little districts and all the little towns, I think that we'll be far ahead And I think it's going to influence the county economic development as well as we go forward.
I think the easy thing would be is just helping these towns have the right contacts. I think that's the biggest thing is these town boards, a lot of them they go to monthly meetings, they don't know who to contact.
That's exactly right.
So I think the big thing is just providing them with, I get complaints about State Road 63. They don't know it's, go to ndot4u.com, you submit a complaint and they'll get back to you, so.
Well, they're layman boards and they don't know, that's not their expertise. They're there to oversee see it and oversee these districts and oversee these towns. And the boards change every 2-4 years
Yeah.
or who knows how often, but they change and the continuity is not there. And we need to provide that continuity and we need to provide some expertise, and I think the county needs to step in is what I'm saying, to help with that.
Yeah, I don't think any of these towns would shy away from help if you can get them free help. I think they would all be eager to take it.
I'd like to go ahead and take that on a little bit, to start bringing in some people to give them advice. The boards are their boards, they can do whatever they want, but I think they should look at some of this expertise that's maybe available to them and at least consider it whenever they're looking at their distribution, how they're going to supply. And
I think it'd be a great idea if you want to go to some of the town board meetings and, provide them with the information and say, hey, here's your stuff, because I think a lot of them probably don't have the contacts, but I know my plate's a little full, but if you want to take it on, I think that's a great idea.
I don't have anything else to do. What's this?
Sending out that letter to thank the
What's it called?
county seal.
Seal.
Actually, next thing on the list, county seal.
Britt, you got the funding on the one bridge, right? Up in your area for $1.2 million or something?
Yeah,
I
bridge
heard
number
something.
37. We have to get we need to get an RFP together for that by June. Should be done by June 1st anyway for bridge 37.
Is that $2 million or 1.2? Someone said it was somewhat about a $2 million project.
I'd have to look. I'm getting all these numbers confused anymore. We got millions and millions of going every which way. I'll have to look. I believe it was 1.2 though. I don't think it was 2. We also got bridge inspections coming up for 23 and 26. This will be the last year for Clark Dietz to be doing our bridge inspections. It has to go out for RFP again. They still be Clark Dietz, but it has to go out for RFP and a selection has to be made. And so that's another thing that needs to be looked at come June 1st of this next month. We need to be looking into an RFP for that as well. July 1st, we have, actually the sheriff has monies in the budget to hire a maintenance person for the jail. I think we need to look a little bit broader than that, than just the jail. We have the annex now, we have the courthouse, and we have remote facilities that we still have some repairs that we're required to have. In EMS and other structures outside, county garages, etc. I think we need to be entering into a discussion about this. The reason for the maintenance person at the jail is because the electronics are going into it, and an understanding of where this electronics and how it works is going to be needed. This is going to be a little bit sophisticated and challenging. And a person, if they don't start now, we will have a problem once the jail comes up into the occupancy and into service. So we need to advertise for a person here in this next month in May, and start interviews potentially for that. The funding for this position is already there, so it's not an issue.
Okay.
Though it is only for the jail. The funding comes from the jail anyway. Public Defenders Board met yesterday. Are we in announcements, or you want me to stop?
Yeah, we're on announcements.
Oh, she laughed too hard, Ann. The Public Defenders Board met yesterday, and the Chief Public Defender won't be available. They are interviewing, or actually advertising. I don't think they've started interviews yet.
Thursday.
Starting Thursday. Anyway, they're hoping to have that person on board by July 1st. So I did tell them that we were ready for them on April 1st to step in, and what our plan was is that the chief public defender would assist in locating where they'd actually be located in Vermilion County. All the judges were there, and a number of the board members from Fountain Park and Vermilion. Anyway, that's all I have. I guess a question though, when we have parks like the Trailhead Park and so forth, how do they reserve anything, or is it just first come first served now, or what are we doing with that? Does anybody know?
If it is accepted into the county park system, I imagine the park board has a system that they use to reserve that. Yeah, they have.
Use it for birthday parties, and we have to call and reserve it.
Is that part of the county system? I think all these
Perrysville
parks.
is
Yeah,
are
the
in-
county parks, yeah.
Not Cayuga's not, but Perrysville is.
Well, you mean the fairgrounds?
Fairgrounds, sorry.
Yeah. So, does the park actually do scheduling?
I would imagine they'd have to. I mean,
It was just a question.
Yeah,
that
I
came
I
up.
can ask Mary tomorrow, she's
Yeah.
the secretary, she
Yeah.
goes to all the meetings, I can ask her.
Okay.
Moving on to county seal, conditional use requirements, you think you recommend it 1 year, keep it up, and keep the,
Yeah, I think
renewing.
anything that we do in that respect, but even committees, I think we should restrict them to a year, and then we can continue, but once a year's up, then, or what is it, calendar year or fiscal year.
Right.
So I think that keeps it where they can come back up and say, yes, he may continue using it.
so I differ with Britton a little bit on that one, Tim. I think if you're a county entity under the umbrella of any county government, I think they should just be allowed to use it, mainly because some of these even committees, I mean, I just don't know what they're going to do with it that would harm Vermilion County. Like redevelopment, for instance, uses it for like proposals.
I'm not
or-
sure I was meaning county offices.
Oh, you were meaning outside of county?
If we authorize it outside the county.
Okay, that's where I misunderstood.
If somebody wants to use it and we give permission
Yeah.
for them to use it outside a county
I had
entity.
concerns from county offices that they were going to have to
No.
ask for permission.
no, that
With-
was
with-
never.
So I'll-
There's gonna be an eye there.
So as long as we make it clear to all county branches that they don't have to.
Well, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's never been a question.
Okay, so that's okay.
I
At
don't
least you
think
gotta
that's an
clarify.
issue for the
Yeah, as long as we've
county.
clarified that and
Yeah.
you know
Well,
that's
but I just, if we were allowing someone else to use it outside
Yeah.
a county office.
there, then that's
I think we ought to,
then a 1-year conditional. I'm okay with
If
that.
something comes up, you can cancel it.
well, they can continue to use it, it's just that in a year they need to re-up it if they need it for 2
That's
years.
fine.
I think we all
It
agree
just-
on that.
Yeah,
Let's-
it just
let's-
didn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that.
I agree with
I'm,
you.
I'm good.
We're gonna move on. Cleanup days, May 5th and 6th coming up. District 1 and 3 garages, tire recovery, May the 14th to be at the Rise. That'll be on a Saturday, won't it? Probably
Yep,
9 to 1 or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, 9 to 1 or.
Resource for Vermilion Park County, is this something that you had?
What?
Resources for Vermilion and Park County?
It's on the back page. Actually, here you can have mine.
NALOC's packet available, is that something?
That was available last meeting.
Okay.
Those are available if people need them. The NALOX is for the people who have gone down under a drug-induced coma or whatever. They are available through the public defender, or not public defenders, from the prosecutor's office. There's a training session, I think, that they give you a little bit, but they are available, and I'm not sure there's any cost to that either. So it's, if you have an issue or you know people that have issues, you may want to take that under consideration.
Political signage, several years ago we passed an ordinance for political signs, and the only place they were not limited on county property is the courthouse. And I'm not ready to do anything with it right now, but by sometime in the summer I'd like to get that changed. I don't think any political signage ought to be on any county property. Make it neutral.
If you're going
Right
to do
now, you
something,
can
you
put
ought
it
to
in
do
parks,
it
you
for
could-
the end of, or by the primary or something.
Do what?
I thought you had an ordinance you can't put on county property.
No. That ordinance, I remember it was passed, and I objected to it because all it said was just a courthouse.
Everything
All
else-
county-
Ordinance, I don't remember
I thought
specifically.
I thought
Yeah,
it said.
it did. Because that was one of the things, all county property ought to be neutral. Just be neutral, and no signage should be on it. But right now, it just stated, I remember when they had it, and just
It's probably
signify.
appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know what
know
I
how to
mean?
think
I'm
about it.
not in, I don't wanna come in.
I would just like to piggyback off like the state of Indiana, just keep out of right of ways like NDOT does, you know, you keep out of right of way and just,
Yeah.
I'm not sure we have a lot of problem in the county with
No.
it, but if we do, we could cover
I
it.
mean,
all.
right of way is different, but I'm talking about on county, you know, like the jail and the parks and, you know.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure any of that is there anyway, but I mean, if there it is, we could cover
Yeah.
ourselves if there is any issues.
But that ordinance, I remember was passed, and it just said the only places restricted is right here at the
On the
courthouse,
courthouse.
so. That's
Oh,
down the road, I just wanted to
Yeah,
bring it to
one other
discussion.
thing I wanted to bring up to you guys just briefly. I know when court's in session on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I know some people struggle with this at the courthouse, we do limit the public to only enter on the, west side entrance. So on court days, we have, and I'm even guilty of this myself, I park on the west side. So is there any way that with the commissioners, tell people they can park in the bank annex now, or maybe employees, maybe we encourage them to park on the east because they have key fobs to get on all four doors. But like on court days, I've seen people, and even wheelchairs or walkers, go to one door and then realize it's locked and they have to go all the way around. So I just kind of want to bring that for your guys' discussion and stuff.
But it's probably all right for people to
Yeah.
park over there for now until we find out.
Yeah, well, I just
who's
want to
gonna be
encourage them
there.
because I know a lot of people like parking on the west side, but every county employee has the ability to go in all four doors, not like the public does.
What's your request?
My request is try to limit the people parking on the west side of county
Why don't we
employees.
just ask county employees to park on the?
That's what I'm getting at. If you guys are
East
okay with
side.
that, is asking them to park on the northeast or
That's
even.
just an inquiry. Out of courtesy, everybody park on the other side.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just,
Yeah,
I feel
I
bad for
agree.
the public coming and, not being able to.
Makes sense.
I agree with you.
So if you guys don't mind, I might send out a county email, just a request for all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they would.
That'd be good.
Okay. I want to get your guys' permission before I do
All employees
it.
have access through that door anyway, don't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, they can enter on the north, east, south. Those fobs are on all four, but,
Yeah.
okay. Just want to run it by you guys.
We might as well make an announcement that parking lot is available for all.
That's it.
anybody
I'll write
parking
that
there.
in
Yeah, for
county
now it
property.
is,
Yeah.
until we find out something different.
Alrighty. That's all I have.
Are we,
He's reading that ordinance, sorry.
Annie, it's your fault. You brought that ordinance in here. I was
Alright.
ready to
What it
motion to
says.
It
adjourn.
says no county property.
What it says, section 1 says listed, this is listed in section 2, no political signs may be posted on the following pieces of county property. Section 2, the courthouse square in Newport.
Read the first sentence, the first paragraph at the top.
I know that.
Thank you.
How do you interpret that?
while they're doing interpreting things, we got a sketch up here of what the courthouse or the annex might look like. Walls can be moved and whatever, but it gives an idea of how many offices can go in at a maximum, and then what a comfortable office layout might look like as well. And all of this can be changed just by removing and using an eraser on a wall.
And these prints were made by an engineer called Brett
No, it's not
Luther.
goes that far. It's just a sketch.
For free.
It's just a courthouse.
Huh?
It's just a
So if anybody's interested,
See,
they
I
can
know
look at
it's
those
just
and
the courthouse.
after the
The
meeting.
interpretation of this from our attorney is
I'd say it's a courthouse square.
just a courthouse square.
Well, Tim, if you wanna spearhead an ordinance, maybe on all county property, I would bring it in the next few meetings. I'd be-
Change that one line.
Okay.
We don't have to do, I don't want to change anything during election season, wait till that's over, and then
Wait till
the next
after.
election
Well,
season.
make it available.
Do
Why
what?
not right after the primary?
That's
You can
fine,
do that.
that's
Which
fine.
is
But I remember
Tuesday.
that was written, and I thought, I don't like that. Just make it, all county property ought to be neutral. Right now, they can go put them in the parks, they can put them on any county property, and
That's
anyway.
fine with me.
Okay, we're gonna get you guys out of here, get everybody out of here. I don't mean that rude. I said that one time, and everybody thought I was trying to run people off.
We
Wow.
don't feel that way. Go ahead.
Mark, could you come up and state your name? No, I'm just kidding.
But it's been a good meeting. We've had a lot of discussion, a lot of important things, and I think it's been very good. Also, I want to say the boat race, again, will be going on the weekend before Labor Day weekend. Do I need to get with you and start doing any scheduling?
Next responders meeting, we're running through the response plan, and we should be good. And you got gotta nail down is the transportation and all that stuff.
Okay.
That was last minute stuff last year, so if you want me to sit down with you to point out things, I can.
Okay. It's a good event. Last year we raised $10,000 for Humane Shelter. We're going to do it again this year. We want everybody to be involved if they can. And I think that's about all I have. Public comment. You've sat here and been so patient. If anyone has something to say, you're welcome to come up.
What were we gonna talk about?
What?
We were gonna bring something up. Me and you, remember we said we needed to bring it up in front of them? Oh, temperature checks,
Oh, okay.
real quick.
Well, I think that we,
Just say.
out of respect, I think we ought to ask the Board of Health too what they think about that. I don't know. I'm not a health officer, and I think that. What do you think, Brett?
Evidently doesn't like my opinion.
I don't think you voiced it, did you?
Yes.
That you should
We don't
want,
need temperature check anymore.
I can read.
I mean, can we make that decision here, yes or no, today and now?
Well, he'll have to put a.
We'll do an ordinance to
We're
change
putting
the
it
ordinance.
together.
And it'd have to be voted on and approved by next.
Next meeting.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that?
Well, Brett,
Yes.
RJ, come out the bathroom.
What do you say, Tim? Unless you say no, it's a,
I mean, we can pass it without him.
well, it's not, it's asking him just to develop
Yeah.
the ordinance, it's not passing the ordinance.
I'm in favor of getting rid of it for the time being, and then it'd depend upon send a notice to the health department and say if they recommend at any time that we change our policy.
You can ask them, and if they say no, keep it there, then just don't.
We just
don't enact
have, we
the
just don't
ordinance.
pass the ordinance.
Yeah, but we'll get a draft ready so it's there. when
You
do
okay
it.
in doing away with the temperature check?
Oh, I forgot to bring that up too. Yeah, we need to, yeah.
Well, we brought it up, and Brett and I is in agreement.
Let's do away with that.
I think that the Board of Health needs to be advised by it and let them know if anything comes up, and they need to
Yeah.
let us know if anything needs to be changed.
Yeah,
Do they
yeah.
do temperature checks?
I don't think that,
I don't go down there.
I don't, yeah. I was in the
Haven't
hospital the
looked
other
at it
day
yet.
and they didn't do any.
Okay. So, anybody else? Anybody else? Motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Brett, you're gonna second, ain't you?
I'll second the motion.
No discussion? Meeting adjourned.
I told myself I was leaving at 8 and that kinda, that went by the wayside.
By the way, next month, we've gone, I'd like to discuss that one county highway at our next meeting. If you guys have any questions or anything about it.
Hey, can I leave these here for Penny or?
Yeah,
Okay.
just set them right
And
outside
have
that door.
some answers
I'll let her